I am creating the most advanced horror game monster, not just one that chases you, but one that stalks you, predicts your movement, listens to your mic, and adapts to how you play. There's just one problem. I've never built AI before, but this has been my mission for the past 3 months. And today, I'm gonna show you just how far we've come. Every failure, every breakthrough. And at the very end, I'll show you something this monster can do now that shouldn't be possible. Unity lawyers are on the phone right now trying to stop me. Now let's rewind to the beginning. Before we get to all the new stuff, let me tell you what we have so far. First, I downloaded a pre-made AI system. It was far too advanced, but in all the wrong ways. So I trashed it. I need something designed for horror, not an RPG. Something that feels alive. But the truth is, there just isn't anything like that on the Unity store. That's when I decided to start building my own AI from scratch. And the goal became clear. Every minute of gameplay, this monster needs to feel unpredictable, intelligent, adapting to the player's skill, and matching it. This game would revolve around Kaseo, our monster. To begin this process, I had to study many of the great AAA games that over the years have influenced us all, and I began with Outlast. This was the foundation, a state machine. A state machine controls the core behavior of our monster. This is how we do things like patrolling, searching, ambushing, taunting, chasing, idle, and of course killing. At first, switching between these broke everything. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a lot of work to create something like this, especially from scratch. It would idle forever or chase a wall sometimes, but after weeks of trial and error, it worked. And that was just one step towards our goal, an AI brain that thinks for itself, a monster you might expect to see in a horror movie. Then came the movement. The monster was chasing, yes, but like a toy train. Straight lines, no unpredictability. This was one thing about monster AI in indie games that always kind of upset me, and it was to be expected, but I really needed to think, how does a predator move? So I introduced these substates. During the chase, it could now zigzag, flank, or just stop and watch you. It can even predict where you're going to go, rather than where you are. I can use this technology to make it cut you off before you get somewhere. And now it felt like a real hunter. Of course, sometimes it would still break and circle around you endlessly, and that's just not scary, but it is kind of funny. Though this bug did lead to a new behavior, something inspired by the Bracken in Lethal Company. I call this blood sense, where he randomly hunts you down without making a sound, and you could just kind of turn around and he would be there, kind of like my homeless dad. But we're not done there. Smart monsters need more than just good pathing. They need good timing. However, these substates took us one step closer to a very advanced AI. Here was the problem. It never left you alone. It was exhausting mentally. The human brain can only take so much horror before it needs to reset. I challenge you to think about your favorite horror experiences and consider, is the whole movie or game just filled with scares? Or is there space? That is by design. Once again, I made sure to study the greats for a viable solution. I was inspired by Alien Isolation for this, and I added what is called the fear meter. If it stalks you too long, the fear meter reaches its 100% state, and the AI director pulls the monster away from you. Once the meter reaches 0 again, the AI director takes the monster and pushes it back towards the player. This system gives the player time to think about how they're going to die, and that gave the gameplay breathing room. Step by step, we were getting closer to an AI that felt real, not just some corny monster in a game. Just a quick reminder, guys, wish lists give me motivation to keep working on this project. The more I have, the faster it goes. Please wishlist Dead Exhale in the link below. And if you guys have any suggestions on how to make this AI even smarter, or any ideas for the game at all, or maybe you just want to insult me, put something in the comments field and I'll read it. Moving on, did I mention my monster's legs move on their own? This is called procedural animation, and after seeing my last viral video, the creator of the asset that allows me to do this reached out to me and said, what if it could— wait, I'm not ready to tell you about this yet. You'll see, but let's just say we made something big become reality, and it really works. I had this amazing behavior now, but I needed animations, and I am no animator as it turns out. You guys all said it looked too stiff, like an old baguette. Its legs floated, arms jittered, joints slapped like wet spaghetti, and I found myself at a crossroads. Do I pay the studio that made the monster for me $70 billion for 3 animations? Or do I find another way? You see, working on games solely by yourself, you have to save money any way you can, especially considering I'm burning hundreds of dollars every day, getting off work early so I can work on this project. So I scrapped it and I rebuilt a hybrid system, procedural animation mixed with a physics-based movement. You might recognize this from games like Gang Beasts. However, I would need to tone it back quite a bit so that it wouldn't have the same comedic feel. Of course, this led to some weird behavior, and I went full circle, and the limbs were noodles, and everything was just too damn floppy to be scary. But some fine-tuning happened, and now it leans when it turns, reacts to collisions, and moves like something alive. This was more proof. We were closing in on our goal. Human intelligence in a monster. Though I wasn't there yet. It still wasn't terrifying until I made it listen. With Unity's mic detection, I programmed it to respond to you. Scream, it finds you. Cough, it listens. Even footsteps are tracked and analyzed. Now the monster doesn't just chase you, it hunts you. Another piece of the puzzle and a greater intelligence. The next thing we added was actually suggested by you guys, and I think it was an incredible idea. Make it lead the player into traps. I tried this and it broke everything. It blocked exits, but then it would get stuck trying to kill the wall. Why does this always happen to me? But after a little work, it now herds you like a sheepdog. It strafes towards you and forces you into kill zones. I call this the herd and hunt system, and it works terrifyingly well. By the time you realize what's happening, I'm afraid it's too late. In this next part, I went rogue, and this was possibly one of the biggest time sink wastes I ever did. I was a fool. I had just listened to some advice from the Choo Choo Charles creator, Gavin, and I made the world brighter. Cartoony trees, happy grass. This wasn't what Gavin was telling me to do, but somehow I misinterpreted his advice. I got sidetracked. That was my own fault. What he said was, horror games do not need to be dark. He didn't say horror games need to be a cartoon parody. It was awful. It was my terrible experiment. And you guys told me rightfully, this doesn't feel scary, and the art just clashed. So I nuked it. After I scraped it away, I was able to create something fresh, and the world's evolved into a pulsating mass of flesh, decay, and dread. Tentacles shift as you walk by. Every area feels alive. Not in a cartoony, I'm about to find Snow White type of way. You can see the history of the past. This ancient temple transcended through many generations and discoveries. You aren't the first to find it, but you may be the last. Now the level felt scary, but I wanted to add some more pressure because the monster wasn't enough, and I'm sick of the head. So I added these little trap creatures. These are placed around the map by the monster himself. Step on one and it screams, alerting the monster to your presence, scaring you and chewing on your feet, keeping you in place unless you can break free in time. Too mean? Good. I'm a mean person. The sooner you realize that, the sooner we can continue. Just kidding. I'm actually okay. Just okay. So okay, in fact, I would like to give you guys 5 free keys to Dead Exhale. They are hidden throughout this video, like this one. If you find one now, you can unlock the game when it comes out on Steam. Let's continue. The next thing I added, this is new. I built an adaptive difficulty system. This is something I'm surprised more games haven't taken part in. If you survive and escape him, he evolves, getting harder. If you die, it eases up. You can at any time select between 3 different difficulties: normal, hard, and hell. However, within these difficulties, the monster will change, depending on how well you do, or not well. And there will of course be a 0 deaths achievement for hell mode. But again, the game needed more tension outside of the monster. Originally, concept came to me, and I said, aha, it was the very first idea I had for this game. Holding your breath in real life to solve puzzles in the game. And I was very careful with how I implemented it. There's even a death waiver you have to sign and agree to before you can even play the game. But please guys, just use common sense. But in case you don't, I created a cooldown system so you don't pass out. And despite all my joking around, your safety is very important to me. That being said, holding your breath is now a part of the survival. Again, after my last viral video, a promising young 3D artist came to me named Alex. He wanted to create models for the game for free. Together we worked on an incredible looking device the player wears on their arm. This monitors your breath and cooldowns, and it creates more tension visually. He helped me from the kindness of his heart, and if you want to give this promising young 3D modeler a job, check him out in the link below. This isn't sponsored, I just want to see him succeed. Now, Now, from the start, there was one request you just wouldn't stop asking me about. I think I saw it more than any other. It became a meme. It became a legend. And to be honest with you guys, I was not sure if I could do it. I kept saying maybe, someday, not yet. The truth is it took me all this time to figure it out, and I didn't even do it all on my own. Well, today's the day. Cassale now walks on walls and the ceiling. You asked for this terrifying spider nightmare, and now it's yours. Congratulations. He's waiting for you. He could be anywhere, but he loves corners like a real spider would. This was actually the most challenging thing I've had to do so far. You see, Unity doesn't actually come equipped to handle this sort of thing. It only lets monsters navigate on flat ground. This is why you don't see a lot of monsters climbing on walls or ceiling. What I had to do was trick Unity into thinking that all surfaces were actually the floor. By doing this, I was able to create navigation paths. Then I just had to link all of these paths together using navigation links. And there were thousands of these navigation links. It took a really long time. And he just didn't want to cooperate. He wouldn't put his legs on the wall. He basically just said no. Luckily, I had a guardian angel through this process. His name is Kareem, and he created the procedural animation asset I used. He found me when my viral video hit all of YouTube. He reached out to me excited to help, and he asked for nothing in return. I decided I would put him in my video in hopes that some of you, like me, would try and procedurally animate some of your own creations. This isn't sponsored, I just really like this guy, and he deserves the world. Without Kareem, procedural animation would not have worked on the walls. He completely upgraded the asset to fit my needs. He even properly configured the monster to work for me because I had worked on it for days and I couldn't figure it out. And somehow I still call myself a game developer. And for some reason, Blackthorn Productions keeps asking me to be in their videos, not realizing I don't actually know anything at all. I just press buttons and see what happens. I cannot believe how much wall walking and ceiling adds to the game. Truly some incredible and spooky stuff. By the way guys, I need your help. There's a beta test coming soon. If you want to be involved in that test, wishlist the game on Steam right now. There's a link below. And if you want to test out the game immediately, in whatever state it's in, or any project I'm working on, sign up for a limited time using this Patreon discount code. You can literally playtest the game right now. It's a little buggy. What are you gonna do? That's why I need the testing. And once again, if you guys have any ideas of your own, please share them in the comments field now. Let me know, what would you do with this monster? What ideas do you have to make this game better? What insult can you think of? Because you guys think of some real fun ones. I really appreciate you guys. And I really appreciate my current Patreon supporters, making my dreams possible about doing this full time. This has been Seth Studios. Bye!